Hello friends and welcome. In this video we're going to take a break from programming and take a look at some general concepts involving Visual Studio. So first let's take a look at removing and restoring references. So imagine I have a simple project and I'm going to open the Solution Explorer. So I'm going to go to View, Solution Explorer, Control-Alt-L, and there is that panel. Now what are references? Remember, references basically are ways of getting external code into our application so we have less code to create. We can be more efficient. So if sometimes something does not work, perhaps there's a reference missing. So I'm going to simulate that. Imagine this is what you do. Right click a reference like system.windows.forms and then remove it. So now that reference is missing from my project structure. If I go back to form1.cs and go to the top, you see how the form is underlined red? There you go. So how can we fix that if that happens? This is what we can do. Right click on references, click add reference, and then here are your references. And this can be added from a variety of places, but the best thing to do is to search. So into the search box, for example, I will type forms, and then I can select this one right here that says system.windows.forms, and of course you can move this over if you wanted to see more. But this is the one that we will choose, and then we click OK. That will restore the reference to our project. And now notice that this is no longer underlined red. So this can happen in case you ever, for example, go missing. One of these ever goes missing for some reason. I've had that happen to me. Another thing is opening a project from Windows Explorer. So this is our project right here. What we're going to do is this. Right click where it says Solution. Right click and then choose Open Folder in File Explorer. That means Windows Explorer. So that looks like this. And I'm going to this. I will close Visual Studio, save that, and then I'll open this. So now we've closed Visual Studio, and to open the project you can click this one right here. That is the Microsoft Visual Solution file. Microsoft Visual Studio Solution file. So just open it from here. And then usually you see a screen that says preparing solution. And now it's loaded back up. Excellent. Now within a solution you can have projects. A solution is like a big folder essentially. And one of the things that you can have inside it is a project like Windows Forms Application 1. So right click on that now and open folder in File Explorer. Choose that. And that looks like this. So this is a more detailed view of everything. So again, I am going to close Visual Studio. And this time I will click this file. It's got a little C. And it says Visual C# project file. So a C with the C# symbol. And I'm going to click it. And this should also open the project in Visual Studio. So you have a couple different approaches to opening your file. And it still looks as shown here. Now, there we are. Sometimes it takes a little bit to load. A project itself, as you can see, is made of a bunch of files. You have the solution on top, then you have the project file. And within that, you have individual files that often end in CS, which is, of course, short for C#. So form1.cs, that's a file, you see? And then program.cs is another file that looks like this. We're not going to delve into this code here because it's already somewhat sophisticated. But just be aware that these have to be present for everything to work correctly. Now let's take a look at configuring Visual Studio a little. That's kind of interesting. Imagine that, for example, the font is too small when you're having trouble reading it. You can change that. And to the upper right hand corner, where my name is, I will type font. And then I will choose the first item from that list, fonts and colors. And I will bring up a box. And here I can configure all kinds of stuff. So for example, the overall writing size that you see is called the environment font. So from this drop down that says show settings for, you can choose a great variety of things. I will, for example, choose the environment font. And then you can configure it to your liking. So right now I have it set as 16, but I can change it to 15, and then I will click OK. And there's a little preview window down below where it says sample. And this takes effect immediately. You see now everything is just a little bit smaller. So that is what you can do, among obviously many other things. And one last thing that I want to point out is when you have many panels, you want to be able to move them and place them wherever you want to place them. So how can we do that? Left click where it says Solution Explorer on the blue area, so left click there, and then pull. And you will see a little cross appear and a little thing like that. The blue area tells you where this item will be dropped and how much space on the screen it will fill once it's been dropped. So if I want to place this all the way on the bottom, across the whole bottom, there's a little tab. See that? And I can release it there, and it's going to be placed all the way across the whole program. So again, left press and pull, and if I want, I can place it right there. So the blue area gives me a visual preview, and I release, and it's been placed there. So these are some of the things that you can do with the panels. And again, there's a little pin here that says auto hide, where my cursor is right now. So if I do that, I can hide the panel automatically. And when I hover over it, the panel usually, I click on it and it shows. I click off it and it hides. So click on it, it shows. Click off it and it hides. That's a good way of maximizing your workspace. Okay, and that is it for this one. Thank you so much, friends. In the next video, we will return to coding.